Okay, so it is 9 o'clock here Eastern time, so I'd like to start so that we get the most out of our time together today. So welcome back to many of you, but welcome to those of you who are joining in for the first time. I know we have a couple new people in our program here today. My name is Allie. I'm a doctor of physical therapy as well as a nationally certified Pilates instructor. I've been practicing here in Boston over the last 5 years. I founded the Pilates RX, which is based here in Boston, and I teach the Community Online Academy every day, every Thursday rather, but all day on Thursdays for the last 6 months or so, back since March. So what we have today is my traditional back pain class. It's a 30-minute program. Today we're going to be moving for pretty much the whole program, and we'll do some stretching, some strengthening, as well as a quick Q&A at the end of class. So if any questions come up during the program, write them to me in the chat. I'm not going to read them during class, but I will read them right afterward, and we'll try and answer as many as we can after we get through our movements. So the one thing I want to highlight before we get down onto the mat and start moving is that everyone's backs are dealing with something kind of different. Our bodies all move a little bit differently. Please listen to your body. Take the options that feel right for you. I offer a lot of ways to modify these exercises, so listen to those options, and there's no one way that's better than the other. It's what is right for your body, and that way you can leave this workout feeling better than you came into it. So we'll start with some breath work down onto the mat, and you can find a comfortable position. Choose to have your knees bent, feet flat, or legs all the way extended, and allow your body to really rest down, taking a moment to get connected to how your body feels in this moment. Just feel the heaviness of your spine down onto the mat. Almost imagine like your whole body is just kind of melting into place. Allow your shoulders to fall back, adding a little tuck to lengthen the back of your neck. And start to tune your attention here to your breath. See if you can visualize your breath and visualize the whole lower half of your body, kind of like your navel down, starting to fill up with air, both your belly, the sides of your ribs, even the back of your ribs, inflating with air. And as you exhale, breathe that air out and let it go. Think of here inhaling with big, full, fresh air. And as you exhale, letting go of some of that air hanging out in the bottom of your lungs. Try 2 more breaths like this. And we always start this class with breath work because our breath controls how some of our core muscles work. It actually helps to encourage stability around our spine. We'll try 1 more big breath in like that, and a big exhale to let it go. And we'll start with some very gentle pelvic tilting motion. So in this position, start to rock your tailbone front to back. If you imagine the space underneath your low back, you can think of closing that space and opening that space by gently moving your tailbone. And as you're rocking your tailbone, you can pair this with your breathing. Think of exhaling as you close the space, inhaling to open. Exhale to close the space and inhale to open. So be gentle, just rocking within your body's comfortable range of motion. We'll try about 4 more, and we're just here to work on a little bit of blood flow. Last 2. And 1 more time here, and settle somewhere right into the middle. From here, walk your knees together, feet together, and allow your arms to rest down by your side. We're going to start gently introducing some rotation by rocking our legs from side to side. So as you do these very gentle side to side rocks, it should be within your body's comfortable range of motion. So if it starts to bother you to go farther to one side, you can stop right before that point and go back to the other side. And again, we're just here in this moment to warm up the spine a little bit, to start to loosen the tissue so we can get some more mobility out of the joints of our lower back. Good. We'll try 3 more just like this. And 2 more. Excellent. And 1 more time here. And then settle somewhere right into the middle. Now from here, walk your feet open just slightly. So they're about hip distance apart. but your heels should be close enough to be able to tap them with your fingertips. Ground down through all 5 toes, pressing into the mat. Allow your arms to open up to the side and start to lift your hips into a bridge. Now in this position, make sure you feel your glutes, your butt muscles working. If you feel it in your low back, soften and close the space between your ribs and hips and just hold this bridge. Now, if that feels fairly easy, you can add in some movement by lowering your hips down to tap and lifting them back up, and lowering down to tap and lifting them back up. This can be slow. It doesn't have to be a fast movement. And the reason we're trying to work our glutes here is because they provide a lot of the support for our back when we bend over, when we squat, when we go up and down stairs. So feeling the heat come into the backside of your legs as you continue to lift and lower your hips. It's also a nice passive stretch for our hip flexor muscle, which is one that tends to get really tight when we sit a lot. 4 more. And 3. Good. Last 2. Last time like that, and drop the hips back down. Excellent. So we're going to take that into a gentle stretch with a spine twist here. Take your right ankle on top of your left thigh, and you may already feel a little stretch in the outside of your right leg. We're actually trying to stretch our left side here by rocking our legs to the right, okay? And then allow your gaze to turn to the left. So this is gentle. You can even reach out to the left side with your right thigh, your right ankle on top of your left thigh. That body weight should pull you into a gentle rotation, opening up the space on the left side body. So try breathing into this left side rib here, taking a big deep breath in and a big deep breath out. And we'll gently come back to the center. We're going to try that same thing on the left side. So now cross your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Take that moment to feel the little stretch on the outside of your left leg. And then we're going to pull the legs over to the left. So that opens up your right side rib. So whatever foot is on top, you're rotating towards that side. And you can actually turn to look towards the opposite side, just gently. Try breathing into your side rib on that right side, almost like your rib cage is an accordion that's opening up to the ceiling. We'll try 2 more just like this. And 1 more breath there. Good. And then gently come right on up to the center. From here, bring both knees in towards your chest. Gently rock your legs from side to side, just massaging out the low back. And then you can take that rock right on up to a seated position. And we're going to flip on over to the all fours setup. Excellent. So once you're in the all fours position, line up with your hands directly underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. We'll try a few cat-cows here. So in this position, think of moving from the middle of your rib cage. Draw the middle of your ribs up towards the ceiling, allowing your head to hang down. And then as you drop your ribs down, allow your heart to open, chest to shine forward. Exhale, head hangs heavy, ribs lift. Inhale, lower back down, heart and chest open. Exhale, head hangs, push into the hands, feel your tailbone be heavy. And inhale, drop the heart down, open up the chest. 2 more times just like this. And lower back down. And once more here, exhale, head hangs heavy. And inhale, come right back through the center. Now we're going to take this into a gentle rotation stretch here. So I want you to think of first pushing your left hand really firmly into the floor, and then reach your right arm up to the ceiling. But as you reach the right arm up, continue to push into that left hand. Now we're going to thread the right arm underneath your left one, placing your head, neck, and shoulders down onto the mat. Tailbone flares up to the ceiling. We push into that left hand, open up and stretch, and then dive your right hand underneath your left, rotating towards the side. So work within what's comfortable for your body, but having that pressure downward into your left hand should help you to deepen this stretch in a safe, comfortable way. If the stretch is too much on your shoulders, so it feels like too stressful on your right shoulder, you can always bend your elbow and just work on turning your rib cage and rotating, because that is really what we're targeting here. One more time on this side, and we'll hold it over in that rotated position. Take a big, deep inhale breath in through your nose and an exhale breath out through the mouth. And we'll come right back to the center. You can take your weight off your hands for just a moment. I know that can be tiring on the wrist, but we'll go right into that second side. So we'll give our left side a little break. This time, imprinting your hands down into the floor, push down into your right hand, turn, lifting the left, and you can follow it with your eyes. Think of opening and twisting your heart to the side, and then dive your left hand underneath your right. Allow your head, neck, and shoulders to rest onto the mat. Push down into the hand, open up, rotate, and twist, reaching to the ceiling, and then diving the left arm underneath, looking to the side and gazing through that little space made by your right arm. Good. Let your breath be comfortable and natural here. We are targeting our upper back, and so with that extra emphasis on the upper back, because it attaches to our rib cage, we can improve our mobility by just using a deep breath. Good, and lower it all the way back down. One more time here. We push, open up, twist, and gently melt, lowering all the way down. We're gonna hold it here for a breath. Take a big inhale breath in through the nose, and an exhale breath out through the mouth. And then we'll come back through the center. Now, if you want to add in a really brief little amount of upper body work to come onto your stomach, you can walk your hands forward and lower yourself down. Either way, go ahead and lower yourself onto your stomach. If you lie on your stomach and right away your low back bothers you, you can place a pillow underneath your hips. Separate your feet just a bit wider than hip distance. Plant your hands directly underneath your shoulders, keeping your neck long. Start to press and lift up into a little bit of extension for your upper back. And if you're comfortable pushing all the way up, you can go ahead and do so here. So this is a nice stretch for the abdominals. It's a little stretch for the hip flexor, but most importantly, this is a stretch for our spine into extension. And extension is the opposite of flexion, and flexion is sort of how we spend most of our days when we're bent forward in sitting. So we're melting down, pushing on up to open up your heart, hands press into the floor, softening back down, pushing into the hands, glue the shoulders down away from the ears, taking big breaths in. We'll try 3 more times like this. That's it, and work within your body's comfortable range of motion. It doesn't have to be as high each time, just what feels good for your body. And one more time here, we'll press all the way on up, lift, hold. We'll take a big, deep inhale breath in. I know it feels tough to expand the ribs in this position, but we'll imagine that, and then exhale, let it go, and so softly, slowly lower yourself down onto the mat. Now from here, we're going to take this into a little strengthening exercise. So bring your feet a little closer towards one another, turn your head to one side, and if you can, interlace your hands behind your back. If you cannot, you can just reach your arms back by your side. So in this position, we're going to bend the knees and kick in 3, 2, 1. Reach the fingertips to the toes and open up the chest. Head turns. We kick 3, 2, 1. Reach the fingertips to the toes and stretch. Head turns. Kick 3, 2, 1. Reach through the toes. So this is actually a Pilates exercise. This is called double leg kick. And it's a great exercise because we get a little stretch to our quads and our hip flexors with the kick. We also get that nice upper back opening and strength work. 3 more. And we reach. Head turns, kick 3, 2, 1, and stretch. Last time, kick 3, 2, 1. We stretch and reach. Lower down, place your hands down, and this time push yourself up and back into a child's pose or shell stretch. Now, if you cannot sit back on your ankles or your knees for any reason, you can do a puppy dog stretch where you keep your hips up to the ceiling, but still drop your chest and shoulders down to the floor. You can also modify for shoulder sensitivity by bending your elbows. If you'd like to take this into a slightly deeper stretch, walk both hands over to one side of the mat, perhaps your right side, and you'll feel the stretch through the opposite side body. And then you can do the same thing to the other side. And then from here, we're going to come down to lie on our side. So I'll lie on my left side if you guys would like to follow along. I'm going to make a little pillow with my bicep here and bend the knees in nice and close towards the chest. So from this position with your head resting down heavy, we're going to do another little rotation stretch for the spine. So your top hand is going to reach out in front of you and then reach it up and over back behind you to gently rotate the spine. This is called book openings. You can imagine opening and turning the page of a giant book. And I want you to work, as always, within your body's comfortable range of motion. So just be gentle and go slow. This should not be painful. It may feel like an intense stretch, and you may even get some clicking and popping in your back. And if you do, that's okay. Just work within what's comfortable for your body. Notice here if your top knee is starting to lift. If it is, that means that the rotation has transitioned to your low back, which is not a bad thing, but we are trying to target the upper back. So I want you as best you can to try and keep the knees together. And the reason we try and target the upper back here is because it's almost always the upper back that is more restricted in rotation than the low back. Now, that doesn't mean the low back won't hurt with rotation, but it may be hurting because it's getting stressed, and it's getting stressed from doing too much of the work. We'll try 2 more. That's it here, guys. 1 more time. And then gently come back to the center. Now we're going to take this opportunity to do a little strengthening for the outside of our hips. So stay in this setup, but straighten your top leg and reach it away from your body. So think of lengthening your foot off the end of the mat, hold it there, and then start to lift lower. It doesn't have to be a big lift and lower, nor does it have to be fast. If anything, I'd prefer you to go a little bit slow here so you can move with control. Think of lowering the leg down slowly, just as much as you are thinking of lifting it up against that imaginary resistance. Now, these side hip muscles are what balances our pelvis. They're what keeps our pelvis level, which sounds unimportant, but is incredibly important in our ability to stand up and to be able to walk the way that humans walk. It's also what helps to keep our pelvis still so that our back does not experience lots of side shifting and side movements with our walking. They also tend to get a little bit weak in our modern life because we don't do a lot of sideways movement. So I think you guys can feel as you move here, these start off pretty easy, but they can get fatiguing quickly. Good. We'll go for 4 more. 3. Last 2. Last time, bend it in and take a rest. Whew. So you can roll to the other side. I'm going to sit up so that I can continue to see you guys. And we'll go onto our right side for the book opening stretch. So go ahead and bend the knees in nice and close towards the chest. That step is really important to help keep the knees together and prevent them from taking all the rotation. Top hand reaches out in front of you, and then you're going to reach back up and over for the floor behind you. So very gentle rotation here. You can follow that hand with your eyes as long as that feels comfortable on your neck. Again, there's always that option to modify by resting your hand on your chest and still thinking about turning the chest down towards the floor and then up towards the ceiling. Good. That's it. See if you can add that nice long reach to the floor out in front of you and big stretch and reach for the floor back behind you. Notice if this side feels different. It is normal to have a difference side to side with this upper back rotation. And that's because it's more related to our shoulders, and we do have a dominant arm. So we tend to be a little bit more flexible on that side. Good. 3 more times here. And gently close. That's it, guys. Last 2. And 1 more time here. And then we'll settle somewhere in the middle. Excellent. So now, keeping your legs as they are, go ahead and extend and reach your top leg out. Stretch it long. Imagine like you're reaching off the end of the mat. And then we start with that little lift and lower. Blow with control. So these side hip muscles, I mentioned to you, they work to hold our pelvis level. They are endurance muscles. They are working all the time when we're standing and when we're walking. So they don't work at a very high level, but they work for a long time. And so that's why sometimes if you add tons and tons of weight, these muscles just say, nope, that's not my job. I'm not doing that. They work at a lower level like this, but for a long time. So we're going to work into a higher number of repetitions without any weight here, just focusing on the control and length of our spine at the same time. Good. You would also notice that if I made this movement a lot bigger, that then my spine would start to move, which we have lost the point of the exercise. We want to keep our pelvis level, allowing that muscle to work as a stabilizer. Good. 5 more. And 4. Last 3. Last 2. Last time, go ahead and bend the knee and very gently press yourself on up to a seated position. Now from here, we're going to walk the soles of the feet together to create a diamond shape with the legs. And you can play around with how long or narrow or wide your diamond shape is. I want you to find a position where you feel a very gentle stretch in the outer hip, but no pinching in the front of your hip. So find that sweet spot. Stack your spine up super tall, keeping the tall length of your spine. Just gently hinge forward. You can rest your hands down onto the mat. You can rest your hands on the outside of the thighs. If you're getting kind of a numb pulling feeling on your legs, lift your knees a little bit more narrow, but keep the soles of your feet together and continue with that same stretch. This is helping to get some of the deep hip rotating muscles, the ones that we were just targeting, but some other ones as well that help to stabilize the hip joint. They also work to level the pelvis. If you're starting to get pinching in the front of the hips, think of drawing your ribs up away from the floor. So engaging your core lightly, and that should help to take away that pinchy feeling. Good. Once more with a big breath in here. And a big breath out. You can let it go. And then find a comfortable seat where you can remain. I'm going to find a cross-legged seat. If you can't sit cross-legged, you can sit up on a pillow. You can also choose to sit in a kneeling position if that's more comfortable for your body. So find a way that you feel you can sit up nice and tall and comfortable. We're going to plant our left hand down to the floor and start to sweep the right arm up and over. Taking a big inhale breath into that right side rib cage, lower the hand down. We'll try that again. Reach the right arm up and over, take that nice long side stretch, get tall through the top of the head, and then lower the arm down. We'll try one more time on that side, diving the right arm up and over, taking that long side body stretch. And then we're gonna add a little bit of rotation. So start to turn and rotate, tapping your hand down to the floor, and then gently turning and twisting to open up to the ceiling. Gently twist, rotating to tap down and turn to open on up. So as you add this gentle rotation, again, if that's too much for your shoulder, you can always rest your hand on your chest and think of grounding your hips underneath you, pushing the floor away from you on that left side. We try 3 more. That's it, guys. Last 2. And one more time here. Come back to the center and then dive up and over to the other side. So from here, push into the floor with your right hand. Think of arcing your left ribs up to the ceiling. Hold for another breath, and then lower that left hand down. We'll try that again. Dive the left arm up and over. Imagine your left side rib cage like an accordion, opening up and expanding, and then lower back down. We'll try once more like that. We dive, reaching up and over. Feel that side rib cage open up and expand, and then add that rotation down. So it's like you're reaching to tap your left hand towards the floor. At the same time, pushing the floor away from you with your right hand. As you're rotating, you may not touch the floor, and that's okay. You're just aiming your hand as though you may tap it in front of you. Feel the grounding of your hips underneath you, adding in that gentle spine twist, breathing in through the nose, hand out through the mouth. Good. 3 more times here. And open up. That's it. You've got it. Last 2. And 1 more time here. And then come back through the center. Drop your arms down by your sides. Shake it out. So find your tallest seat once again. We're going to finish class just like we began, with a little bit of breath work. So think of getting taller through the top of your head, like your spine is a bunch of building blocks that are perfectly stacked on top of one another, reaching all the way up to the ceiling. Once you have that height, take a big inhale breath in and an exhale breath out and release. Try that again. An inhale breath in, stretch, reach, get long, and an exhale breath out, let it go. We'll try one more time here. Big inhale, stretch, reach, and an exhale breath out to let it go. You can give yourself a gentle pat on the back for doing something really healthy, really positive for your body, especially in a time that's so stressful for so many of us. And our backs do tend to be a place that holds stress. So I hope you guys feel a little bit of relief from the program we just went through. I want to spend our last 2 minutes of the program answering any questions that you have. So let me get a little bit closer just so that I can see. If you guys would like to unmute yourself to ask a question, feel free to do so. You can also write any questions that you have to me into the chat, and I'll be reading through those. I ask that if you have a moment to stick around to leave some feedback about today's program as well, I would really appreciate that. I will show you guys how to leave feedback in just a moment with the QR code for this class. So Gigi asked a great question. Is there a website I can see this lesson again? Yes, the Video Hub. So there's both a website as well as an app. So on the Perks at Work page, I'll post this link in just a moment, but on the Perks at Work page, there's a section where you can go. It's called the Video Hub. You can search for any video dating all the way back to March. And so there's lots on there, but today's video will be posted by noontime tomorrow. There's also an app, and if you want to check the app, it's COA, Community Online Academy. You can search for that on the App Store, and all the videos are on the app as well. Let me go ahead and share my screen with the QR code. Oh, I'm sorry, Nancy asked a good question here, and I didn't see that. I skipped right over it. Nancy asked, is moist heat good for a tight back or cold? So it depends. In a very acute injury, so let's say you injured your back today by picking something up, it's really, really sore, you may want to err on the side of ice because it may be more inflammatory. And more chronic back conditions where there's not as much of an inflammatory component, you can use ice or heat. It's either, and it's whatever makes your back feel better. And I know that sounds crazy, but pain is a sensation that's happening in our head. And that's not to say it's only in your head, but if it makes it feel better, that's a good signal in your brain, you're doing the right thing. So if you're dealing with more chronic pain, you can use ice, you can use heat. I tend to find that heat is a little bit more relaxing for muscular type pain, but I've had different people find great success with both. So I know that's not a super clear answer, but I hope that helps you to decide a little bit what might work for your body.